Da-da-da! Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by for another Golem edition of the personification of evil within myself, which never really happened to that degree between myself and anorexia. And this week's edition featured a little bit of blood. I don't know how much you guys actually saw it on my arm or whatever. That's okay, it's cool. It was more for the mental, to get me into that focus of actually playing that character, because playing that character, that's pretty intense. Even if it is just myself in a room. Yeah, so anyways, I did a bunch of research this week, and it turns out, from reading off CAM's website, which is the Canadian Association for Mental Health, is that eating disorders actually share a lot of trademark symptoms, or what's another, not just symptoms, but also other mental disorders, illnesses, disorders within the whole broad spectrum scope. And so I kind of have changed some of my sermons to reflect that, in stating that, well, if you're a human, right, you have the three parts. There's body, mind, and soul, or spirit, or consciousness. Will, those are all interchangeable words for soul. They're all the same. So anyway, most people believe in a physical affliction, right? You have an owie, you get cut or a bruise, right? You see it, but most commonly it repairs itself through a bandage or some ointment or something like that. But then you have the reverse, the inside style of wound or disease, which is the disease, or basically, let's say you have cancer, right? Cancer never gets better. It doesn't really get better on its own. It gets worse if you leave it alone, right? And then eventually it kills you. So those are the two types of physical affliction. And then of course there's the mental afflictions, which would be eating disorders, depression, certain types of disabilities are in the mind, or can have warts, or there's loss of function, there's problems there. And then the third part is the spirit, or the soul, or the will, the consciousness, which you could say is depression most affects that one, right? Even though people can say, well, it's chemical. Well, yeah, that can be true, but you can only raise somebody's spirit so high with chemicals, or while putting their body back in line, before you actually have to deal with the fact that their life is total crap, or what the issue, like how they got to that state, what keeps them in that state. Was it a scenario? Is it bullying? Is it something that just plays over in their mind, like a traumatic situation, or a traumatic situation on rewind, or perpetual traumatic situations. So yeah, most people, and then so most people will believe in the three types of illness. And while you can say mental illness can be treated with certain types of to balance out the chemicals in the brain and in the body. You can never, that's part of it. You can never fully recover somebody that way. You have to find the underlying causes, the underlying issues. Just like in cancer, right? You got to find that source, that malignant tumor. You got to find it in order to cure, to harvest that out and really, really cure it, or like chemo way to kill it. You have to go and find and cure the thing that has caused the mental illness. And for me, what caused mine was, really never being accepted. Like, people will say, oh, you're fairly handsome, you're charming, because I'm nice. I'm really nice. I'm a nice guy. I'm the nice guy that never gets what nice guys get. Yeah, let's go with that. Or I'm the nice guy that gets what nice guys always get, which is nothing in today's society, because I want nothing. I just want to facilitate other people's good experiences, and that's why I make these videos again. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video, in terms of enjoying it as in seeing the inner struggle. Had that idea to do that one a couple weeks ago, but it takes time for that personality to manifest itself enough for me to be able to do that, to play that character. I mean, it would be easier if I was playing it like for a film or like for a reason, but in reality, I'm just doing it. I'm doing it for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope to continue doing the Golem Smeagol anorexic self debate for a while. It's really, really fun to do because it takes me into a whole new landscape of myself, which is awesome. And it really takes focus to keep that accent while being fashioned with such rage and such internal anger and hatred and turmoil. So yeah. Anyways, back to the original topic: mental illness, eating disorders. Eating disorders having an eating disorder is like having all three problems at the same time: body, mind, and soul. It's like having an illness that affects all three, and that's pretty harsh because that means it affects not only the self, but it affects the family. It affects every relationship you have. It affects your body, aka the cutting, or the burning in my case. You really have to, or people have to recognize that it is all three, and the only way to cure it is to find the source problem and help that first. And even if you can't help it, you have to find out what it is and then accept them for it. Because part of the problem is that they can't accept themselves at all. And I can barely accept myself, but I have an inferiority complex and BDD on top, which is body disorder on top. So I'll never see myself the way other people see myself, but based on the opinions of others and the way they talk to me and the way that my muscles and my body works now, and the fact that people say I look like Russell Brand, that's pretty. You don't really get much more handsome than that in today's society. So I guess I accept myself in terms of how other people see me, but not how I see myself. So anyway, be careful when you have an eating disorder not to go too far into depression or into suicidal thoughts or into realms you cannot really escape from in terms of you can't do it alone. Like restricting and binging and purging, those types of things you do that to yourself alone and you can recover from yourself alone. But cutting, sometimes, you cut too deep or you do something, you can't recover from that by yourself. And even binging, or not binging, purging, be careful where you do that. There are certain places where you do that and then you make a mess and then you're screwed, people know then. So anyway, and I'm not saying that as a warning, to help you out. I'm saying that as a warning to, not ruin make your own mental state worse, right? Because if you're not ready to tell people and they find out and you're not ready to actually deal with anything, then you're just gonna make things worse for everybody involved. So that's kind of why I said that. But maybe for some people they find out about you and then things get better. So, by all means. My struggle was pretty intense. So yeah. I'm mostly recovered now. I would say that I have a clean bill of health. Actually, my doctor said I have a clean bill of health, which is awesome because it's awesome. Being healthy is awesome. Being vegan and a cyclist and strong and healthy is awesome. And being able to share myself with the world is also awesome. It's amazing. It's fantastic. It's fantabulous. It's better than playing World of Warcraft, which I wish I could do sometimes, but then I realized that what I would do in the game would just be sit there and wait for people to chat with me. And since no one really ever chats with me about anything other than how I'm doing, and they miss me. Woohoo. So yeah, you guys know that I care. Someday, some people, some corporation, some philanthropist, some people will recognize that I care and recognize that I have something to contribute to this world. And maybe they'll sponsor me for my trip around the world, the cycling trip. Then I'll speak to you guys and I'll give you hugs in real life and we'll be friends. And then you'll see just how much I care. Because I'll actually be doing more than just this. I mean, no one that I really know that does this type of thing anyway. So I mean, I guess that's valuable in itself because it is a form of art, therapy, healing for everyone. Yeah, that's how we'll end. Find what art you find amazing to be true in you, and pursue that. Even if it's weird, like the golem thing, that's weird, right? Poetry, no one really does that anymore. It's weird. But find out what it is that you would like to do, and artistically wise, no, just artistic, and pursue that because in there you will find some measure of healing over time, and it takes time. Don't just like getting healthy, getting to a stable body frame weight that can handle your daily routines again in a healthy state. That takes time. Um, so does the healing of the mind and the soul. So I love you guys, and thanks for stopping by for a Villainous Time special Golem Anorexic dialogue adventure. You guys have a great day. Bye!